Nietzsche was born in 1844 in the Prussian province of Saxony. Nietzsche's dad, who was a Lutheran minister, actually named him after Frederick William IV, the Prussian king at the time, which makes me happy to know that simping for politicians wasn't invented in the 21st century. Hey honey, I'm home. So I know that you're a Lutheran minister and everything, but like I'm kind of in the mood for a romantic dinner and yeah, okay, can you shut the fuck up for a second? I'm looking at this painting. Yes, Daddy William. I'm all yours. Nietzsche was a smart kid, not like those who get into the gifted kid program in 3rd grade because they can read 2 grades above their level. He was genuinely very talented. At the age of 14, he receives a scholarship to Schulpforte, one of the most prestigious Protestant boarding schools at the time. I didn't really find anything interesting about his time here, except for the fact that he got to know this guy, Ernst Ortleb, who was a poet and also a drunkard, who, I'm not making this up, was found dead in a ditch weeks after meeting Nietzsche, before which he made Nietzsche show up to school drunk, which I think we can all agree we all did at one point, right? When you go to school drunk and you think the popular kids are gonna accept you, but they don't really. Anyway, this drunkard introduces Nietzsche to the music of a little someone called Richard Wagner. Now, some of you might not be acquainted with classical music and know who this Wagner guy is. Who are you? I am severely anti-Semitic. But he is notable for having composed the music for the 2008 Cartoon Network game Flight of the Hamsters. Understandably, Nietzsche developed a man crush on him and sent his wife, Cosima, a piano composition for her birthday in 1871. However, Wagner allegedly found it unimpressive, even mocking it, and a German conductor at the time described Nietzsche's music as, quote, the most undelightful and the most anti-musical draft on musical paper that I have faced in a long time. But anyway, he graduated from Schulpforte in 1864, after which he went on to attend the University of Bonn, studying theology and classical philology, which basically means old classical languages like ancient Greek or Latin. After one semester though, he discontinued studying theology and abandoned Christianity altogether, turning into what I can only describe as an archetypal Reddit atheist. Hence, the ways of men part. If you wish to strive for peace of the soul and pleasure, then believe. If you wish to be a devotee of truth, then inquire. In 1865, he left Bonn for the University of Leipzig because his professor of philology transferred there. At this time, he was getting into reading a lot of the works of Arthur Schopenhauer, who is widely known as one of the most optimistic and cheerful philosophers of all time. In 1867, he signed up for the Prussian military, and he was actually praised for being one of the best horse riders among the recruits. Unfortunately, his military career was cut short due to an injury. Okay, so I'm gonna ride this horse now. Oh shit. Oh, you fell off the horse. Yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah. How much? I can't even begin to describe it. He tore 2 of his chest muscles, which left him unable to walk for months. In 1868, he actually met Wagner in person, with whom he shortly became friends with. Wagner introduced Nietzsche to most of his friends, including Franz Liszt, as he seemed quite fond of him. During this time, he wrote his first book, The Birth of Tragedy, which mainly talked about classical Athenian tragedy as an art form. Though he wasn't the one to coin it, he arguably helped popularize the terminology of referring to certain things as either Apollonian or Dionysian. The distinction comes from the personalities of the Greek gods of Apollo and Dionysus. While Apollo is all about following the rules, not falling into excess, whatever, boring, Dionysus is all like, hey kids, you see this carriage? I'm gonna get drunk and drive it around town. See this prostitute? I'm gonna sleep with her. You're saying she has syphilis? That's alright, I don't care. But anyway, in 1869, he was invited to teach classical philology at the University of Basel in Switzerland, which is crazy because he was only 24 at the time and had neither a doctorate nor any prior teaching experience, things that you usually need in order to teach at a university. But he was just so cracked at classical philology that he was allowed to teach anyway. 1870 marked the outbreak of the Franco-Prussian War. Despite not finding much success as a soldier, Nietzsche wanted to help his country anyway, so he signed up to be a medical assistant, which was a similarly short-lived career as he contracted dysentery. By 1871, he was back teaching in Basel. Between 1873 and 1876, he published 4 fairly long essays that would later appear in the collection Untimely Meditations. The essays were challenging the, at the time, developing German culture, the same one that Wagner was championing, which led to their falling out later on. In 1878, he published one of his most important works, Human All Too Human. It differed from his previous works, as instead of being made up of essays, the book was just a collection of aphorisms, or general truths. I learned a new word today concerning metaphysics, religion, and other topics that tend to come up when a little too much alcohol is involved with your friends. Look man, all I'm saying is that he who cannot put his thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of dispute. Yeah, true. And in reality, hope is the worst of all evils because it prolongs men's torments. Yeah. Please like the video and subscribe for part 2.